Okay, welcome everyone to our February 27th, 2025 council workshop meeting. Do I have council announcements or reports?
Mayor, I'd like to address our car show we had over the weekend. Thank you to everyone that came out. We had a great attendance. It's the first one of the year, and so just ready to get our events and everything started again. We also have our 5K this Saturday. It'll start at 9 o'clock. We will have road closures throughout the city, back here on 6th Avenue and so forth. I've posted all of the closures and the map on our Facebook, so please be aware of that. And also, we have our community yard sale registration going on. It is on March 29th, so if you're interested in participating, please sign up for that. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to new business. Planning Commission reports. Sarah McQuaid.
Mayor, Council, it's great to be here tonight. I'm just going to be here to give you an update and answer any questions you have about the items that were on the Planning Commission agenda last week. So we had 4 items on the agenda. One was a old business item, the previous rezoning request on the Lyle Road property. The Planning Commission voted to table that item at the request of the applicant to see the outcome of the proposed PUD amendment prior to moving forward at the Planning Commission level. So that will be heard on March 19th at their regularly scheduled meeting by the Planning Commission. For the new business items, I had 4 items of new business. 3 of them were final plat authorizations, which is to authorize you, Mayor, to approve the plat. And these are all existing subdivision developments that were previously approved through the rezoning process, had land disturbance permits issued previously by city staff, and then came in to do the final plat, which gives them their building rights. It indicates the end of the construction phase, and now they're ready to start going vertical and start selling the lots. All of those, so the first one was phase 2C of Harmony, this development. We indicated it was recommended for approval of this item. There were no modifications which were needed. Item number 2 was a request by Clayton Property Group for a final plat. Hillshop Road, and this was for a 386 single-family lot subdivision. We recommended approval of this item, or the Planning Commission did. In your report or in your materials, you'll see that prior to Planning Commission, there were a couple of comments that were left to be addressed from staff. Those have since been addressed, so it is ready to move forward to final plat and signature. And the same for the second Clayton Property Group one for Summerlin subdivision, phase 1. That one was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission. The last item of new business was the proposed amendment to Chapter 17.90.140, and that's the Planned Unit Development District. Previously, after we updated the Downtown Overlay District, Council and you, Mayor, indicated that it would be time to look at the PUD ordinance and see if there were any recommendations we had to strengthen that and improve it. And we did recommend some changes. You'll see, you should have a copy of that ordinance in your packet. We added some additional dimensional standards. We added some architectural standards, amenity requirements, and kind of just took that ordinance and kept it in its original format for the most part, but just added some supplemental requirements that would kind of guide the kind of product you would be looking to receive. As part of that, staff had recommended an increase to the maximum density permitted. That was recommended by staff at 3 units per acre. The Planning Commission voted in their motion to reduce that back down to 2.2 units per acre, which is where it currently stands. The Planning Commission also requested that multifamily residential not be included in this district. They wanted it to be primarily single-family residential or duplex So we made that modification. And then they also requested that we increase the minimum lot size from 5,000 square feet to 7,000 square feet. But I'm happy to answer any questions.
Can you tell us why the change from 50 acres, I think what the current PUD was, down to 10 acres?
We wanted to provide flexibility for some redevelopment of existing lots within the city limits. If you're looking at mostly 50-acre tracts, those are probably going to be annexed parcels from Barrow County that would be coming into the city, so your larger developments. But we wanted to not exclude any existing properties in here if there was a potential redevelopment or a smaller scale development within existing limits.
Just to be clear, currently as is, after this discussion, is this going to our next business meeting to be voted on? Is that, okay. The 2.2 dwelling units per acre, I've changed my view on that a little bit, and I'd like to just open that for discussion with the council. You know, if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I would have felt like it mattered. I don't feel like it matters anymore. And I think whether it's 2.2 or 2.7 or 3.0, I largely think that's irrelevant. And it's because, you know, the more I learn about this, since it's a gross unit per gross acre, like if it's a 50-acre plot and and there's only 30 acres of usable space, everything gets squished to those 30 acres. Or if it's a 10-acre plot, but there's 5 acres of floodplain and everything gets squished down, I just think it's irrelevant. I don't think it matters. And so I think I'm of the case now where I think we need to attack more the lot size and the actual product that goes on there rather than the dwelling units per acre. To me, after talking with and doing research, 2.2 dwelling units per acre is a hard sell. I think we can get some better conversation with developers if we give a little bit on the dwelling units per acre versus and then we give a little bit there so that we can have better conversations about the product that they're going to deliver at the end of it, if that makes sense. I just want some discussion on it. That's my thoughts on it right now.
Yeah, so I'll piggyback with what you're saying as well. I think when we're looking at moving towards the next step for our citizens as we invite new citizens to come into the city, I think it's important to look at multiple phases of life so we're able to look at what was previously passed by councils before us and say, you know, we're offering kind of like a starter home to move into, and then we've got kind of nothing in between, right? So this is like an opportunity. I see it as like a phase to help keep residents inside. You know, and I think as we're planning to keep that notion in here to move forward with products that can kind of expand and move both in size, like you're saying, expand the lot size a little bit. There was a few things that were in here that I'd like to bring up. I think the the minimum size of a single-family home, I believe, was 24 feet wide, and then the townhome was 20 feet wide.
That may be correct. We can look at adjusting that if you would like.
Yes, please.
What, do you have a width that you would like to see?
Yeah, so single-family, I would like to bump it up to 32 feet,
Okay.
and then for townhome, I would like to go 26 feet.
Can you tell me some of your rationale behind that? I don't know the.
So the point is, whenever we're looking at some of our recent housing studies, I know staff's working on a more updated one, but when you're looking at ones that we had from the 2018 real estate and commercial evaluation that we had, or our LCI or comprehensive plan, the reflection that we were getting from citizen input was being able to have front porches expanded. When you have a smaller, more narrow home, you can't have a front porch. And so I think being able to offer that inside of the next stage home and having that front porch opportunity, I think is really a good opportunity for us. So
Yeah.
What was the current townhome width?
I believe it's 20 feet.
20, okay.
And then the single family was 24.
Okay, yeah.
And what was the width you wanted for the townhome to be changed to?
26.
26.
Yes. So again, moving towards just minimum requirements, widening them. for the
I mean-
PUD specifically.
Like when this came out, I started thinking about what we have in Auburn. Like we have Auburn Station, we have the towns of Auburn, and there's lots of smaller homes for entry level into our city. And I think it would make more sense to have wider, larger homes with maybe some larger lots for that next step up, for the medium-sized homes to large-sized homes. So what we don't want is a bunch of small homes stacked on top of each other. And I know that like I said, 6 months ago, I don't think I understood quite as well what things meant, but I don't think the density 2.2 to 3.0 matters. I'm willing to go back to 3, I'm willing to go to 3.0. If that's what we want as a council to be able to go there, I'm okay with that now. Because I think we need to attack the width of the home, the width of the lot. I would like to go to 7,500 square foot lots instead of 7,000.
Okay.
I think when I talked to you earlier this week, you mentioned that still was reasonable for developers to see that and not get scared.
Yeah.
Or to not balk at that. Because I think on the, what was it?
Summerlin?
Summerlin and Kentmere, it was all 5,000.
Right.
It was all 5,000 square foot lots. And I was like, that just feels.
Yeah, Summerlin, actually, I think the minimum is 7,500 that they're
Is it?
running.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe it's the other
And
one.
so
Okay.
it shows you that on 7,500 square feet lots, they're pushing 3,000 square foot homes, right?
Okay,
Over
yeah.
3,000 square feet. As a matter of fact, when I was over there walking the lots, I actually got to meet a family who used to live in Auburn, had to buy a house that was larger. They had to move to Winder. And it was kind of interesting. I was sitting there talking to them. They were getting ready to go look at houses in Lawrenceville, and then was meeting a family member that lived just across the road. And they said, we didn't realize that Auburn's building, nicer homes, and so they're actually looking at buying one of the lots inside Summerlin. So being able to recapture that, right? I think that's good to know that we're looking at building homes that are able to retain families inside
Yeah.
of our city limits. So
And I was talking with a citizen today that, mentioned, this is this is not 30 years ago, and the need for better homes to move into, and that density is not as much of a concern than it is for people who bought homes early 2000s. That it's just a different market, it's a different, homes are so expensive now that the need is different. And I know that people in established lots and homes have this, I say attitude, but I don't want to say attitude is in a bad way, but this, like, I'm in I'm in 2/3 of an acre on my lot, and I feel good about it. And most of the people on those size lots are saying to me, well, we need half-acre homes, we need full-acre homes, and I agree, but we're already on those because we could, but that's not available now and not attainable for many, and so, I think we can increase the lot size. We can increase the lot size to make it a more attractive home and a better home on there. But again, the density thing, I think there's going to have to be a sacrifice to make homes for what people can buy now. So,
And, also you can think of the amenities. We've increased your minimum amenity requirements from what your base code is. So part of the reason for doing that is providing a balance in a common space area, whether it be trails, a playground, or, something for citizens to use as a community as well.
well, that's a good,
we offered larger walkways too. I believe that was another
Yeah.
thing that I appreciated.
We increased
So-
the sidewalk width.
Right, when you go back to a lot of our citizen studies that we get from inputs, those amenities inside these neighborhoods are always favored, so.
well, I was talking with a citizen today, and he was like, and I didn't even think about it. I just, I'm new to this. And he was like, if you have those amenities inside the PUD that's put on the developer, then those are less amenities that the city has to provide for its citizens. So if those amenities are provided by the developer into that neighborhood where it's a more livable space, and it's a space they want to be at, then that's less things the city has to spend money on and provide for because it's built in.
Yeah, and in your existing ordinance, you just require 6% open space. It's not required to be programmed in any way. So by adding those programming requirements, whether it's a pool or the walking trails, community garden, that gives a purpose to that open space. It's
Yeah.
usable by the residents there.
And just want to make sure that everybody hears, when we talk about this PUD, this is not this is not what, this is not a roadmap for the developer. We hand this to them, and then when we change a zoning for a property, like this is the starting point. Like, this is the starting point of a negotiation with the developer. So we can put some requirements on that developer. Hey, we will change it to a PUD if we change it to this, but these are some of the conditions that we want on top of what is our base. So like, if this is what we say is our base, that's our starting negotiation with the developer. We can have some conditions for certain lots and certain properties. We can always move up from this and make things better, but this is the starting thing. And it's, you know, could it be, I don't know, I have to go back and look, but could it be that in previous councils that have approved things, they just approved it and put no conditions on it, then the developer went to the bare minimums? That could be the case. I'd have to go back and look at minutes, but this is a starting location for where when we interact with developers. Okay, this is where we're starting at. We want some conditions. You want us to change it to a PUD? We'll change it to a PUD, but we need some conditions because that property is a special property in Auburn. We need to make sure that it's maybe up to a different standard than what's the minimum requirements are.
Well, and the one last thing that I would like to touch on would be the minimum house size requirement for the heated floor space. It says for a single story, it's 1,800. I'd like to move that up to 2,000, please.
Okay,
And then for the two-story, I'd like to move it to 24, please.
okay.
Sarah, in your experience with working with developers, are those reasonable minimum standards?
Yeah, I mean, you'll often see requests for lower, like the 1,800, just to accommodate the smaller floor plans that they may randomly get requested for, but primarily in pre-application meetings and council meetings, as you've experienced, they'll say, well, yeah, this is the minimum, but we expect the homes to be 2,400, 2,600, once you go, you know, into actual design and what the customers want. But I think, you know, if that makes you comfortable to set it at that standard and indicate that you're looking for that size, it makes sense.
Any other comments?
No.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, and just so we can talk about this, this will go to vote at the next meeting. I will draft up these revisions so you can see them as you've requested, but you'd want to include these changes in your motion, just, you know, either modify the planning commission motion or, you know, we can talk about the exact language with Jack, but it'll need to be identified during the public hearing.
Excellent.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item number 2, the Perry Rainey Center rental fees. Michael?
Yes, sir. And thank you, Mayor, Council. So your Perry Rainey Center has been a topic of conversation now for about 2 years. I think we had a flood in December of 2022 around Christmas. We had a pipe burst in the ceiling, and it flooded basically the entire wing, one end of it. We've gone through 3 contractors, 3 engineers, and a lot of time and a lot of work has spent to get the CO back, and it's ready to rent again. So we're super excited about that. Some people have never seen it rented, but it'll fill up extremely fast. It's a very beautiful facility that was done years ago, and it's a great use for the city of Auburn because it brings people here for weddings and other events. I felt like it's the right time to go over kind of the procedures, change some of the rental rates that goes along with it. So we've got ideas that we're going to do procedurally wise. We were issuing keys before. We've got a system now where we'll be able to give you a code and get in the door. So not everybody in the city will have a key. We're going to add a cleaning fee to the cost of rental, and that kind of takes the burden off Miss Kathy or whoever was trying to clean it on Monday to determine whether they get their deposit back or not. Now it's kind of like an Airbnb. You pay for your own cleaning, which kind of makes sense to us. And then one thing that will be new to us because of BS&A and our upgrade on our website that we'll talk about in a few minutes is you'll be able to do all this online. So the forms will be online. You'll pay online. You'll get a code through text through Brooke to be able to open the door. So it's all the whole procedure from I guess from experience in the past, we've been able to change, and it's going to be more effective for the city, more efficient for the city. So we're excited about that. But it will fill up. And so we're trying to have a calendar online so people will be able to see the calendar. And that'll help also with the phone calls that we receive from the people wanting to rent the PRC. So good things are coming. With that, prior to the flood, well, it was around the same time. We had a rate increase at that time. That was 2 years ago. We never rented one thing at that rate increase because about the same time we had the rate increase, the pipe burst. So over that time, of course, things cost more now. But you'll see in front of you a rate increase that we feel is comparable to other venues. We still operate the venue not to make a profit. We're not that kind of stuff. We use it to enhance the city and the citizens. We feel like it's a place that you can come and use and feel good about and feel proud about. So you'll see comparable rates that are commercial rates that are astronomical for a reason. But that's not what we have used it for in the past. And you'll see the rate increase in front of you, but we feel that based on comparable rates for government building, that's fair.
You may have said this, but my mind is zoned. What's the difference in NPE, AC, and NC?
So they're citizens.
Auburn citizen?
Yep, Auburn
Non-citizen?
citizen, non-citizen, and nonprofit.
Okay. Did you say that? And I just-
No, sir.
Okay.
But that's kind of spelled out, and typically they call us and ask us what that is. But, yeah, so we work with them on that.
Certainly. I figured that's what it meant.
Yeah,
I
no,
just-
you're good.
I didn't know what the nonprofit meant, but I figured AC and NC was that, so.
And one thing you'll see is what we didn't use it for in the past, really, that we should use it more. And because, as you can tell, I was probably over it in the past. So I know our weekly rentals during the week to enhance like HOAs or local businesses to come have a training day, that's a great place to have that kind of stuff. Any kind of business association, any thing that meets during the day, we will encourage them to meet at the Perry Rainey Center. And that's just something that didn't happen a lot in the past. Lanier Tech uses it in the evening, and that's part of our grant application that we received years ago to remodel the building. So Lanier Tech uses it for adult literacy in the GED program, the ESL program, and it's continued to grow. And that's a great thing. They have a new, Shannon Hammond's over it now. She's great. I mean, I've known her forever. So we got a great relationship with Lanier Tech, and that's going to continue to grow. And I think it's something that the city itself needs to be proud of, that it's something that we offer in the city that probably people don't realize, that we have Lanier Tech programs in Auburn, in the Perry Rainey Center. And so I'm hoping that now that people can see and the rentals are open, the building becomes more active.
And it's beautiful.
And it's beautiful.
Anything else, council? Okay, moving on to item number 3, Republic Services rate information only. Michael?
Yes, sir. As you know, we're in contract with Republic Services. I believe that contract expires 26, from what I can remember. They do an April increase every year. It's part of their contract that they notify us of the increase in cost of service. You'll see that you have both 2025 rates and 2024 rates in your packet, and the cost of increase that'll occur.
You said the contract with Republic is set to end in 2026?
I think it's 2026, right, Jack? We did the bidding,
I'm not positive.
yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head.
No, but I'm pretty sure. I'll have it for you next, when we vote, but I think it's 26.
Okay.
And then what we do at that point, we solicit bids and then we kind of start over. So, but Republic was by far and away the,
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, last time this came up, there was the city really kind of went beyond the ordinary call of duty in terms of soliciting bids and trying to have some pre-negotiations with other carriers. The city shopped really hard to try to get the best rates it could. And like Michael said, Republic was the lowest responsive bidder by far. I think a big part of that's geography, just because they're here, the
Yes.
landfill's close by, so their costs, are less than anybody else's would be to send vehicles in from other places and haul trash away, but,
and I would say a big part of that's too, remember, we took on billing.
right.
That was kind of my first move as city administrator, that they said you can reduce rate. And I think it was like $7 or $5 to $7 if the city will take on billing. And without question, I kind of told the ladies up front, hey, we're taking on billing. So that saved the city money from the city being able to handle Republic's billing. We also received the customer service that went along with the billing, but that's a different story.
Okay. All right, let's move on to item number 4, website partnership plan. Michael?
Thank you, sir. And I think Councilman Sis mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. We're going to have a website update, it's ready for that. We have more options now for billing. We have more need for citizen involvement on the website. It'll be a way to share more information that we're doing, to be able to put it on the city website. And really, that's really what it's used for, is information to serve the citizens. And so updating it, I think we said it's going to look like the city of Kennesaw. So if you want to see the city of Kennesaw's site, I think that's where it's headed. The reason we're soliciting bids for a new contract is part of our website was part of our contract with VC3 when we had them as a security provider for software security. Remember, we went to InterDev, I think, on that, and then so that we lost that contract with them, so we have to renew the website contract just for that. So VC3, we had VC3, EvoGov, and Proud City listed here, and you could see VC3 is a $7,000 upfront contract cost, and it's $500 a month. That's still substantially cheaper than the other two, plus they already serve the city, and we have a relationship with them. So, and then there's remarks about upgrading the website. So that would be my suggestion to continue using VC3 for the city website.
And you said if we continue using VC3, the overhaul is gonna look similar to what Kennesaw's?
Kennesaw,
City?
yeah.
Okay.
City of Kennesaw. And our buttons will be different on there because we have BS&A software that's brought in the online billing and, the forms and that kind of stuff. So we'll have different buttons, but the template will look like City of Kennesaw.
Yeah.
But now that I don't know what financial software Kennesaw uses, but ours will have additions for customer use.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's also important to look at the fact that this will give us the opportunity to clean up our website, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I get quite a few comments regarding finding permit applications or just documentation through our website. You find multiple hyperlinks through a Google search, but then you can never track it again, right? So this is going to simplify that. I noticed that you guys also put the information with one of our recent decisions for videoing. So there's going to be like hyperlinks for immediate access to that. I think it'll be good because there's also mobile friendly, which our current one is not.
Yeah.
So this is good.
No, it's kind of like BS&A. It's kind of time for an upgrade on website use. It's hard to stay up on technology. It really is because it advances so fast, but it's time for a website upgrade for sure.
Okay, anything else? Okay, moving on to item number 5, sanitary sewer capacity fees ordinance. Michael?
Yes, sir, thank you. And Jack can chime in if I need him, but part of our sewer allocation came from investment in a Bexar County development project years ago, and the city was part investor in that, and we were allocated capacity from Barrow County. And we need to set the fee for that capacity to sell to developers. We had, at one point, I approached mayor and council years ago to, I guess, reserve 100 commercial units for possible commercial in our downtown overlay section. And that way, when they tap on to our sewer system, they would have to purchase an ERU or it's whatever's necessary for their size building. And we would be able to allocate that, and that would be $4,500 per ERU. And I need to add that to the fee schedule is basically what we're doing.
Council?
No, I got nothing.
Okay, we have two voting items tonight, and being that we're going to be voting on them, I want to give the citizens the last opportunity to comment on these items. So at this time, are there any comments on the two voting items, the statewide homestead exemption opt-out or the amended charter for term limits? Okay, with no one coming forward, the statewide homestead exemption opt-out. May I have a motion to approve the resolution for opting out of the statewide homestead exemption under House Bill 581?
Motion?
Second.
I will second.
Okay, discussion?
Real quick, Jack, does this affect the senior tax exempt? Not at all? Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Item number 2, amend the city charter for term limits of office. Jack?
Sure, just briefly, Mayor, we've had several rounds of discussion, I believe, about this, and this is the charter amendment that would impose term limits. Nobody's sitting here tonight, you wouldn't be subject to it, but whoever takes office in January 2026 and subsequent mayors and councils would be. It would be 3 terms in each office, and then if somebody wanted to stop being mayor and be a council member or vice versa, that would be allowed. But you're required to vote in 2 consecutive meetings to approve local charter amendments. So we've provided notice for this to be on your agenda tonight to be voted on, and then it'll be on your next meeting as well to satisfy that requirement for votes in 2 consecutive meetings. For this was just, it would add the term limits consistent with what you've discussed in your prior work sessions.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the ordinance to amend the city charter 5.16 terms of office as presented by staff?
A motion?
Second.
I will second.
Okay, discussion? Okay, vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carried. Okay, are there any citizen comments on agenda items? Yes.
Bob Gill, 1531 Winfield Drive. I can address a PUD.
Yeah.
That's okay. My only concern is our infrastructure. I've been here, some of us, Josh, you've lived here for 20 years or better. 6,000 people when we moved here. Okay, that would be 2005. Okay. We've seen a 50% growth in our population, and we're looking at, with all these approved developments now, final plat approvals, we're looking at adding another 5,000, potential 5,000 residents to this city, taking an average of 3 members of family household. We're already having problems with our infrastructure. My concern is not only our roads, but our water purification. I think we're having issues there. So I would just take that into consideration when we're discussing density. Building more on top of more when we have stuff to fix. And we've been generating these taxes for 20 years. And I don't think a penny of it's gone to roads since we've moved here. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, we are adjourned.
No gavel?
Brooke's got several things for you tonight.